yeah, so that was our number 4. So number 5 is more of a. I kind of feel like this is going to be media driven. I don't really know much about him. I don't think Zeno knows much about him, but it's already starting to start because one, I don't see the Kansas City's chief Bieniemy. Is it Bieniemy?
Yeah, Bieniemy. Yeah.
Bieniemy. I don't see him coming to the Falcons. I see him going to the Houston Texans just because.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask why is that. Yeah.
Just because he worked with Deshaun Watson in the past, and then also you have an opportunity to work with a young quarterback like Deshaun Watson, who's barely starting his career, versus a quarterback who's
later in his career, not as mobile.
Later in his career, he's middle. For quarterbacks, Matt Ryan is technically speaking. Are we middle age at 35? No, it's not.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah. Well, for in football, you're at an advanced age at that point. Yeah.
He's already thinking about. He's already switching to bonds to make sure that his
right switching to bonds. Yeah. And then you've got Brady and Breeze that are geriatric, but yeah, it's basically no. Matt Ryan is an old man for the sport.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I honestly think he's going to go to the Houston Texans, right? And then another person that some people were mentioning was McDaniels, from the Patriots, the offensive coordinator.
They always mention McDaniels,
and I don't want him. Reason I don't want him is I don't trust his word, right? A person
after the whole Colts thing.
After the Colts, he got, and just in case some people don't remember, he got hired by the Colts in 2008. Or going into the 2018 or 2017 season, and they were about to make the announcement. They had already made the announcement, hadn't they? That they had agreed to
turn. It definitely started leaking out for sure. But I don't know if did he get hired or was it more of like a
they hired
an understood handshake.
No, I believe they hired him and he backed out of the hiring.
Oh, that's messed up.
And then his agent actually fired him after that.
Was that not the same season? No, it wasn't the same season where what's his name got hurt. No, not hurt. Andrew Luck where he retired early.
Andrew Luck retired, I think the following off season.
Yeah. So that was last season.
What would have been his first year he retired, I believe.
What would have been
McDaniel's first year as the head coach.
Oh yeah, so it is the same season then.
Yeah, it is the same. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is the same season.
Yeah. So I mean the Colts just had like a double whammy. That's so bad. But yeah, I agree. You don't trust it. You lose credibility once you do something like that.
Yeah, and then also one other reason is kind of like, start moving. Y'all gotta start moving away from the. I think all teams got to start moving away from the hiring out of the Patriots branch, because look, a lot of head coaches who create great offensive coordinators, they're the reason why they're also great offensive coordinators, that when they go become head coaches, they're not great head coaches. Look at Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia is going to be fired this year, or that's my prediction, because he's not the head coach. He's not head coaching material, It just sometimes it's that way. And I think McDaniels is the same way. I mean, he put his money on Tebow, even though Tebow could win games when he needed to win, but you still don't put your money on Tebow, So I don't see McDonald's. So the other one that started coming up was actually, before I mention his name, who I think he's going to be heavily aligned with the Falcons until the actual hiring happens. But before I mention his name, the offensive coordinator of the Bills is actually probably somebody that I don't know if you know his name.
I don't.
I'll pull him up. But anyways, he's probably going to be also heavily, put with the Falcons. But the one that I'm talking about right now is actually, I don't want to give his name out because I want to mention the proper name of the coach. Talk so I can.
Oh, okay.
I can find some time.
Well,
never mind. Hold on. I already got it. Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll.
Yeah, he's the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. He's just being heavily attacked. He's just, he's doing good. I mean, he's doing great.
Josh Allen has been fantastic this year, and it's funny that they were so shut down by the Titans because from a fantasy football perspective, Josh Allen hadn't gotten under 25 points prior to this week. So I mean, he's been.
But the Titans also had like a bye and a half week.
Yeah, I actually thought that would be to their detriment, but it ended up not being.
It doesn't seem like it was. So because they ended up getting like a whole almost 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 2 weeks and at least a day off. So I think it worked. I think they were just well rested, honestly, and that helped out. So and then what's his name decided they said that he Thanos snapped Josh Norman.
Oh my goodness.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Oh wow. Such a great.
It looked like a clothesline. Like
such a great moment. Oh, and it was to Norman, right?
Yeah, Vince McMahon's gonna reach out to him and be like, "Hey, would you like to be a professional wrestler after you retire?"
Yeah. Oh, that was brilliant.
So, anyways, so the guy that I'm mentioning is, I'm sorry, my door over here is falling off. So, the head coach that I think is actually going to be, it's one of like, just seems like, I was telling Zeno in pre-production, it just seems like there's always like one college coach that they just want to push towards the NFL. Pete Carroll was one, and he came, had success. What was his name? Baltimore Ravens head coach, brother.
Harbaugh, Jim.
Harbaugh, John Harbaugh.
Jim is
Jim Harbaugh. Okay.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh was the same way, and then it was funny. Him and Pete Carroll had a rivalry in college, and then they see each other in the Super Bowl.
Same division. Yeah. No, NFC Championship.
No, Super Bowl. Ravens versus the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking of his brother.
Super Bowl was him and his brother. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I believe in conspiracies, but doing a brother on brother Super Bowl seemed to be a nice little story.
No. Look, it was bound to happen eventually.
Anyway, I personally think that if the Falcons had placed the Raven in 2012, they would have won. I really do.
I just want to say one thing about your conspiracy theory. If that was a conspiracy theory, then even more of if that one is a valid theory, then even more of a valid theory would be that what's his name? The Gruden Bowl was also planned. Yeah, he leaves one team, goes to the other team. They designed it
that particular way.
Yeah.
No, I really don't believe that that's the reason it happened, but I do believe that the Falcons would have beat the Ravens. I really do.
I think so. Yeah. I believe so.
Because they just had that. But anyway, what could have been? That's the life of the Falcons. What could have been? So Lincoln Riley, I honestly think is the man I'm talking about. He is the Oklahoma head coach.
University of Oklahoma.
So you could kind of feel like that's starting to develop because they're trying to push him towards the NFL. It's kind of one of those things. I've done so much in college. There's how much more can I really do in college? Because college is a bottleneck, right? There's a lot of like in major sports. I would get which major sport do you think has a bottleneck of these are the few teams that actually put themselves in championship? I'm going with I believe Major League Baseball is like that because I always see the same teams over and over winning World Series.
So baseball might be one just because the way and I think it's the way that their money system or the cap system is designed. It makes it so that the rich teams are always in the conversation.
Yeah.
Rich teams being your big media markets, the LA Dodgers and the New York Yankees. LA Dodgers are currently in their 4th straight National League Championship Series, because they've had all that money to get all those big names. But then they've also started like investing in the drafts, but they weren't doing that before. Before they're just throwing money at their problems.
Throwing money where they can. So college is kind of like a little. It has nothing, and I don't think I guess it does have to do with the fact that Alabama's going to have first dibs on recruiting, right? Like same thing with UGA probably have the same high dibs on recruiting, especially
they're always like 1 and 2 in draft classes. Sometimes it's UGA, sometimes it's Bama, but they know that that's where they want to go.
Exactly. So it's just like there's that bottleneck. So I kind of feel like they're kind of pushing him towards the NFL. I honestly feel that he's going to be, if he does, because the thing is, though, if you're a college coach coming off of success from college teams, right? Going to a team like the Falcons is enticing because, one, you already have a great foundation, right? Because he has a lot of core players. Offense, you have Calvin Ridley, you have Julio Jones, you have Matt Ryan, you have, if Alex Mack is still there, you have a center that's very consistent, and then they're grooming Hennessy right behind him. So then you have if Hennessy's a success, then you're good for that's a good 10 years of consistency at center. Like I said, Jake Matthews is a consistently good offensive player, despite some people's opinion of him. He actually still is a really good offense, but that's the offense. Defense, yeah, they're struggling. Yeah, we have a crap secondary. Our secondary probably is completely replaceable. Maybe even AJ Terrell. I don't know. Maybe he just hasn't had enough chance to play. But you have Grady Jarrett, and you have guys like Deion Jones. Even though a lot of people are saying Deion Jones is kind of lacking a little bit this year.
Yeah, I still like him. I
still like him. He was also very invisible last year too, but I still like him. And then I think Keanu Neal, I'm not gonna say he didn't miss a step, but he is still showing enough that he can still be that enforcer. So you still have, and then you also have it's a really young defense now. We have a young defense. You know, we have one of the oldest teams, but I think that has a lot to do with the offense. But you have a young defense because you drafted the way you drafted recently, right? You have, like I said, Marlon Davidson. If he's healthy, that's probably somebody that coaches think, hey, I can build around this guy, right? I just need to build my pass rush and my secondary straight, right? You make a great get a great pass rush, you get a good secondary. That's just how it works. So you have good corporate. So if he is a college coach trying to come to the NFL, what other team would you see of the possible teams that are going to get have head coaching vacancies? I don't see any other team really competing against the Falcons because there's no other team that is on paper a great team like the Falcons is.
But it's the poor records. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think to add to that, the idea that Matt Ryan, he's an MVP caliber. I'm not saying MVP caliber as in he's playing at MVP level now. I mean that he has won an MVP before.
He's an MVP winning quarterback.
So he's an MVP winning quarterback. So he knows the game as well as he does. But he's also probably nearing the end of his time in the Falcons, which means this new guy might get the ability to draft a quarterback, like in a few years, and work with a college quarterback and groom him up to NFL level. I think that in itself could be an exciting prospect for someone coming from that level. So yeah, I kind of look at it the same way I look at like McVay and Goff in LA. McVay is your age, right? Or
he might be younger than me.
Yeah, like I mean,
he's older than you, but
coming up.
But remember, you're only what, 31?
31, yeah.
I think he's just. I look at him and I'm like, yo, are we that old now that we can be head coaches?
So he's
34. He's only 7 months older than me.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm 34.
These two youngins coming together, and there is that rapport because it's like, look, I can build with this at the start, and I think coming into a team where their quarterback is about to age out, for some people, that's an exciting prospect. So, yeah.
And then especially if they do sign on for 6 years, if you get somebody who gets to sign it, basically, if you sign on for 6 years, that means you have a good 4 years to actually show that, hey, I'm going to create a winning team, right?
Yeah.
But if you go 0-4, you start off, with only like 2 wins each season for 4 straight, you're going to get fired regardless of the fact that you signed six, whatever. So anyways, all right. We did want to do an honorable mention, right?
Yeah. So the reason why I have this as an honorable mention is because it's not really an expectation per se. It's more of a hope for this, right? And we mentioned earlier about how the players really like Dan Quinn, so it's not going to be so much of a that dude's out of here. Now we're going to play our butts off, but it's more of I'm hoping this decision to yank out the head coach and the GM would be the catalyst that leads to the team gaining some killer instincts. Whether it's that decision or even just putting in a coach that has that killer instinct. Because the Falcons, they have the talent. They just need to stop this thing of taking their foot off the gas. And I just never felt like they had that. So
And not only that, but actually a great thing to add to that is the fact that now I don't know if Raheem Morris is the one that did it, but they fired the special teams coordinator right away, right? So it's just kind of one of those things where if he's the one that did it, he's coming in, he's saying, "This is my team. I'm going to build my team the way I want." Look, it's kind of weird and being a sports fan because sometimes you're hoping or wishing for people to be fired, which is not something that you really would want to do because you're. Even though they're going to be fine when they come back, when they do get fired, they're going to go become coordinator somewhere else. You're still kind of ending someone's livelihood, right? At least for that moment. So it's not. I don't want to say I wish that Dirk Koetter had been fired, but I wish we had moved on from his services because
I wish he had been laid off.
But I don't wish for him to be fired. I just wish for him to mutually agree. So. And it's because I think maybe you could have done something with Greg Knapp. Maybe Greg Knapp can call the plays, and maybe he does because, like you said, it's just there needs to be some type of changes, and I think with the offense there needs to be a change. One thing I will say though, if by any chance we don't expect this to happen, but if by any chance Raheem Morris actually sneaks into the playoffs, just win because remember there's 7 seeds this year.
Yeah.
A 9-7 team could go in as a 7th seed.
Yeah, I mean, so basically go 9-2 the rest of the way.
And it's possible.
It's not far fetched. It really isn't.
It's not because remember they went 6-2, and I honestly think the reason they went 6-2 had more to do with Jeff Ulbrich calling plays than I think Raheem Morris. And I think that might be the reason why they. There's 2 reasons why I think they made Raheem Morris the interim. One, Arthur Blank was like, I have to get somebody who at least was a head coach at one point. And he had 2 choices between him and Dirk Koetter. But Dirk Koetter has never had a winning season as a head coach. Raheem Morris went 10-6 with the Buccaneers.
And also the fact that this came on the heels of 2 losses in which the offense really can shoulder the blame for those 2 losses. It would be hard to now say the OC, now you're the
exactly. That would just be like because that was one of the things when I found out, I was like, I hope they don't. I was hoping it was Jeff Ulbrich, honestly, just because consistency with the offense and consistency with the defense that might help them. But I wouldn't be surprised if our defense has a bit of a turnaround because I honestly feel like Jeff Ulbrich might be the reason why it was more than Raheem Morris. Because they split remember they split the play calling at the end of last season. But I want to know how much was it Jeff Ulbrich was creating the plays, you know what I mean, versus Raheem Morris creating the plays. So it just depends on, he called the first 2, and then Raheem Morris called the 3rd and the 4th down. But how much of the actual development of the defensive plan was more Jeff Ulbrich than Raheem Morris? So maybe we'll see that difference in this. And then, look, I'm never for tanking. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I hate that. Tank for Lawrence.
It's miserable. It's miserable to see my team lose.
Yeah.
I was happy as hell when we beat the San Francisco 49ers. And then when we beat
that was Saints, a great game. Yeah.
And then we swept the Carolina Panthers. I was happy about that stuff. I'm sorry. I don't care what. And then we helped Jameis Winston become the first 30 for 30?
Yeah, 30 touchdowns, over 30 touchdowns, and 30 interceptions.
Right? And then it was at the hands of my boy DeAndre. So I'm happy when we win. So honestly, my dream would be that we do go on a winning streak and then sneak into the playoffs, even if we do lose the playoffs.
Yeah, even if we lose in the wild card, whatever, man. Like no one should be rooting for the team to lose.
Exactly. And guess what? At the end of the day, people, I love it when fans get mad at teams not tanking. Do you really think Grady Jarrett gives a damn about Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, exactly. You're saying, hey, go ahead and tank so we can draft your replacements.
Look what happened with Miami last year. Remember when they were purposely tanking last year, Miami? All those players asked for trades because they're like, at the end of the day, bro, this is my resume that I'm putting on and you're causing me to, So anyways, if Raheem Morris does happen to do that, what did you say? You said what you think maybe he just get a 1-year contract?
I think if he makes it to the playoffs, he gets a 1-year contract. I also told Zeus that if we win the Super Bowl, that dude's he's getting a major contract. Because look, Atlanta is starved for championships, right?
Yeah.
So I was actually talking to someone about this, where we're talking about the Braves and the fact that they let the Dodgers score like 4 in the ninth inning against them in Game 2, and I mean, they were acting like the Braves just lost. It's like, dude, we're still up 2-0, and he's like, yeah, but it's this city that doesn't win anything.
Let's touch bases with that in a few minutes.
Yeah. Well, I
I
just
have
want to
some
say
thoughts
that.
about that.
So it's a city that doesn't win anything, and so this friend is an immigrant like myself, and he only came here in like 2001. He's like, we haven't won anything since I got here, and I said. So I wrote Atlanta United. What am I, chopped liver? But it's like, no, but of like the major sports. Even though I do see
Oh,
that
really? So Major League Soccer is not a major sport?
yeah,
Okay.
well, the trend is that there are more fans
Right.
attending MLS than NHL games, for instance.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, but to his point, though, Atlanta is starved for championship for their traditional teams, if you will.
Yeah.
And if this dude somehow gets the championship, 6-year plus
Oh,
contract.
he's gonna be able to be like 4-12 every season for the next 4 years before he finally gets tired. If that were to happen.
Yeah. They're like, hey, look, man, he got us a championship. Yeah, you good, bro. So,
anyways, that was our long-winded top 5.
yeah, cool. 2 videos probably.